I'm a fan of SMT, and one game I never touched was the original Raidou games. And Raidou, The Mystery of the Soulless Army was one that I had sitting around on my computer. I downloaded the ROM. I could have booted it up and played it on the emulator. It's just something I never really got around to. So when I saw that the remaster was out, and I heard some things from some SMT channels I watched, and they said it was a good remaster, and it basically just improved on certain things here and there and kind of just modernized it and put it out there for a lot of people who really didn't play it, because I don't know how well the Raidou game sold. Only reason I know about it is because I like SMT and I watch channels that talk about it, but I don't really know how much it picked up in terms of like a lot of people playing it, because you also have to think SMT, I would say, it's still kind of relatively niche. Persona is definitely overtaking it in terms of popularity, with like Persona 5 being just massive. So I don't even know how many people played the original Raidou games, but it's something I was interested in playing. And this game was interesting. It deviates from the common formula of SMT games. It's not a turn-based RPG, it's an action game. And the action elements, you do basic stuff. You have light attacks, heavy attacks with your sword. You have some gun attacks. It's relatively slow. It's not something I would say is going to be in any way your main damage dealing ability. And you do have 3 slots for spells or gun attacks or sword attacks or spells that buff you up. And you can add some variety to that, especially because your heavy attack is where your weapons, like your unique choices, come into play, in terms of you can use regular sword attacks, or you can switch over and have an axe or a spear, and these give you different kinds of play. Your sword heavy attacks, these are in the middle, not super fast or not super slow. But then your spear, this is your very fast, quick abilities, and then your hammers, your slow, heavy hitter. And they also, depending on which weapon you have equipped to you, they'll give you some different stat bonuses, maybe like vitality or magic or whatever, based upon the weapon you choose. And you could upgrade these things through sword alchemy. So you start off with just getting these basic swords, and then you can go through a tree where you're unlocking different versions of it by upgrading it into these different mythical or ancient weapons that relate to different religions, mythologies, folklore, all that stuff. Those elements of SMT where it brings in all these different spirits and gods and demons and everything from different cultures and brings that in. It brings the weapons into that, unless you will, these unique weapons. And you get some abilities from them. You'll get your sword skills specifically, where they're usually like buffs and stuff like that. And then along with that, you unlock the different spells and things as you go along, or some you just get from story things. It really just depends. You'll unlock different stuff. But of course, you do have both demon fusion and recruiting demons. In terms of recruiting demons, it isn't really like the other SMT games. It doesn't really take a lot of work. You're mostly just going to be there. You're going to fight it. Honestly, it's closer to Pokemon, honestly. You'll do a couple motion, like button presses to kind of get past a certain line, fill out a bar, and then the demon goes in the tube. It might talk to you sometimes, and you answer the question correctly, and it might get a stat boost, 1 or 2 points to one of its stats. But other than that, it doesn't really contribute that much, and you'll also maybe get an item. Really, you usually always get an item from just capturing that. I haven't failed to capture one. The only reason I've really actually failed is just I had too many demons and not enough tube. And fusion is the same. You take your demons, you put them together, bam, you got a new demon. You can bring over some stats, some abilities, stuff like that. Your demons do have unique little things based upon their types, and these abilities can help you out in the world. You might be able to allure a certain character. Certain demons that Electro Base can basically hone in and just find hidden objects in the world by just sensing them, by saying like an electric pulse. You can have them scout out and see what kind of demons are around. You can make somebody excited. You can do different things, and these are useful to help you in the world. You can also take control of your demon and send them in to get past things you can't by flying around or going through a gate you can't get through. And they can even fight in certain battles where your demon will just be fighting by itself and you'll be controlling it. I didn't find that particularly interesting. It wasn't the best thing. It was kind of fun, but it kind of felt rather slow, because you'll have your one demon fighting 3 others, and they control kind of weird sometimes. It wasn't my favorite part, but it wasn't too bad, as long as you make sure to send in your strongest demon, because sometimes I have some lower level demons that I had particularly for the reason that they had a certain ability I kind of needed, so I kept them around. Kind of like how back in the older Pokemon games you have an HM slave. If you remember having like a fucking Bidoof and Platinum that can just do surf and everything else you needed to do, it's kind of like that. And kind of back to did I talk about that? Back to the fighting, because you have your demons out in fights. You have 2 at a time out, and they can do abilities. They'll usually do all this stuff automatically based on what type they have to use. If they have something that's going to be super effective against the enemy, they'll use that. If not, they'll just use whatever else they have. They'll do basic attacks. They'll use spells. They'll heal you. It's mostly you just making sure that you have enough mana, because you and your demons share the same mana gauge, and you can regain your magic bar basically just by hitting enemies, doing attacks, and they'll build back up. And especially as you get on and you have very powerful demons that are using very big spells, you're going to want to make sure you're doing these attacks as frequently as possible, because you will run out real quick. And it's a fun enough addition to the combat. It makes it fun. Along with that, sometimes you'll have to dodge, jump, block attacks. You got some special combos. You have special moves. Sometimes you get it if you dodge a move or hit an enemy just right. You get a special move where you just press the right buttons and Raidou will either jump up and kick them, slash through them, shoot them, and it'll do a lot of damage. But I feel like the big selling point of this game is, one, the story. The world's interesting. It's fun to roam around, do quests, just talk to people. It's fun. I feel like if the story is engaging for you, you'll get through this game even if the combat isn't the most exciting thing you've ever experienced, because the story is really the thing I enjoy. I enjoy just sitting there, reading the dialogue, watching cutscenes, and just kind of learning about everything that's going on. I don't know how deep the choices really impact this game, because in SMT games you have the alignment system based upon your choices. You get neutral, you can get law, you can get chaos. It really just depends. I don't know how much impact the choices I'm making in this game really have, and that's something I probably won't even know unless I watch something about it or do another playthrough. But either way, I've enjoyed it. It's been fun. I'm glad I finally had an opportunity to sit down and kind of experience this game that kind of was almost legendary in my mind, or just obscure to a point where it almost had this like mythical status. And I wasn't disappointed. It's my favorite SMT game, no, but I'd recommend it, at least if you're a person who's interested in playing, especially if you're an SMT fan and you haven't experienced it. It's good to see something that's a little bit different within the series. And it also might be good for some people who maybe they're not playing on a PC, they can't emulate the game, and they'll have opportunity to play it now. So yeah, that's all I gotta say. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, you can like, you subscribe, you can dislike, you can unsubscribe, you can leave comments, good, bad, it doesn't really matter. It's up to you. Free to do as you please. I appreciate you just watching. Peace out.